Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's almost sad Byleth time, but not quite, because first we have tea with Ingrid, which is, I guess, a little incongruous if I'm being honest, but I guess that's alright.
Thank you for inviting me. What a nice aroma. I really enjoy this tea.
Of course, we have her favorite tea.
Thank you.
Or one of her favorites. Everyone has two or three. I think everyone has two or three. Everyone I've looked at, anyway.
Quite delicious.
I know very little about Ingrid. She does like food. I'm not sure if that's quite the same thing as liking recipes, but let's go with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Dining partners. Well, she likes eating. All wrecked. I don't think she's into fashion. She didn't like. She wasn't like not about the makeup with Mercedes. Let's try cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's warm around the monastery, and the soil is rich. Honestly, I'm envious.
What? Let's praise her.
Wow.
Aha! Great success. A plus tea time. But not S plus tea time, because we missed one.
Thank you for the treat. I had such a great time.
And now it's sad Byleth time. Also exploration time, very clearly. And then next weekend, it looks like a good opportunity to do a paralog battle. Amarian forces are attacking Fodlan's locket. Interesting. That sounds pretty similar to the one that you get for what the Black Eagles are at, where you go defend that. But that happens much later, so I don't know. Anyway, and then we've got Bishop Mystery. Don't really care about that. Inner House Reception. That's, I guess. And the mission this month is, yeah, the one where you go out and track down Grania. Alright. Don't think we have anybody. Yeah, Flane and Marianne are still at level 19, so there's no certifications that we need to do. Get started.
If you must weep, then weep. I shall be here for you. Well, it would be ridiculous to not feel anything after something like that. Go on and let it out. I am here.
Oh, okay. I guess that fade to black was Byleth letting it out.
Professor.
And Leonie has something to say before we even have the time to step out of our room. Presumably her support conversation was locked to Jeralt's death.
Hey, Professor. Got a minute? Look, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't mean to lose my temper. I was rude to you. I should have known better. Huh, I thought you might say that. In that way, you're just like Captain Jeralt. You accept other people. You don't let petty details get under your skin. Well, when I was a kid, I kind of latched onto him. I've been calling myself his apprentice ever since. He spent some time in the village I grew up in. Actually, you weren't with him back then. Why not? Huh. Maybe he left you with a relative or something. Anyway, back then, Jeralt's job was to deal with poachers. Well, they were bandits, but we called them poachers. Nobody in the village could stand up to them, but your dad, he took them on like it was nothing. I was so impressed. All I could think was how amazing mercenaries were. I'd lived in that tiny village my whole life, so to me, Captain Jeralt was nothing short of a legend. So I went right up to him and I told him I was going to be his apprentice. He didn't stick around long after that, but he did teach me a lot while he was with us. Tactics, strategy, training routines, it was all so new and exciting. So after he left, I kept at it, kept training, just like he taught me. Me too. I always planned to meet him again once I became a top-tier mercenary. But I'm just glad I got to see him, to thank him properly and all. I've spent my whole life working to become a great mercenary like your father. There were so many times when I wanted to ask his advice, but I couldn't. I just had to make do. That's how I've made it this far. Just hard work, all on my own. But then you come along. And it's like you don't appreciate Captain Jeralt at all, or how lucky you were to have him around your whole life. Oh, it still really bothers me. You might be his kid, but I'm still his best apprentice. Got it?
Okay. It's like an odd thing to say right after he dies. Whatever.
I'm so sorry about what happened to Jeralt. No, of course my sorrow is nothing compared to yours. The Knights are even now searching for our enemy's whereabouts. They are to report back the moment they find something. If you desire revenge, Professor, you can count me in.
Can I? I don't think I have the option to have you help me out there.
You gotta keep yourself active during tough times, Professor. Even if it seems impossible. That's how I got through it when I lost my parents. If you need help with anything, just come and see me. Eating and training are my specialties.
I don't see what eating has to do with that, although I guess eating your way through your sorrows is kind of a trope, at least.
I'm not even close to being strong enough. I mean, Jeralt was so much stronger than me, but even that's enough. I can't dwell on the past. There's no way to know what my future holds, but I do know one thing. Whatever happens, I have to make my own way in this world. I have to keep pushing so I can grow even stronger.
Alright, we got a bow tournament. It's gotta be Claude as the choice. I guess it could be Leonie. I don't remember whether I've tried using her or not. I assume Claude isn't going to take bonus damage in this, but I kind of want to find out, so let's do that. Hubert, are you serious right now? What is Hubert gonna do? Other than get one shot. Like a chump. Was it a good try? I don't think so. Oh, not quite a one shot.
That's the golden deer for you.
So close to one-shotting all of them. I mean, where all of them is all of them but Hubert so far. But
it's not luck. It's
that's
fate.
just embarrassing for them. I mean, guess I might as well restore some health. Petra's got a little bit more HP on her, or a little more defense. I guess both. Also dodgier, not that it helped her.
It's fate.
Felix, that is doing a lot of damage. Holy crap. Does he have that much strength, or what? I mean, it's not gonna matter, but... Dang. Having that crest activated is a little scary too, although, I mean, it wouldn't have actually done enough damage to cause a problem, but it's intimidating. Give him that. Alright, and an advanced seal. Alright, look, it's Leone.
Captain Jeralt's gone. He's gone. And we'd only just reunited. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is even harder on you. But I just can't... I can't believe...
See, why wasn't that in the support? Why wasn't that level of, like, distress? Like, if you're gonna lock the support behind an event, and I know it was locked behind an event because Byleth, every single support Byleth has, every single member of the Golden Deer, as of before this one with Leone, was locked behind, like, some kind of chronological event. So, you're gonna do that anyway. And then you're gonna have the support be about Jeralt and Leone's relationship to Jeralt. Why wasn't that in the support? Why doesn't... And that way, instead of it just being like a one-line thing, it could be like a, you know, a whole conversation about it. I don't know. I just... feels weird to me.
It is a shame what happened to Jeralt.
What a shame.
I am sorry. There are no words. Leave some flowers on his grave for me.
I'm so sorry. I never quite know what to say at times like these. Just don't push yourself too hard too soon. It's okay to allow yourself to be sad right now. Losing someone dear to you. Well, each loss is unique, but it's a feeling I know very well. That said, Professor,
What was she looking at? That old cloud?
Oh no. Professor, thank you for all you have done for us. Nothing to report today.
Gatekeeper sounds more distressed than most of the other characters, honestly.
The other night, I had the honor of sharing a drink with Jeralt. He was pretty tactless, honestly. He could be blunt at times, but he always looked like such a proud, happy father whenever he spoke of you.
How come I never had the honor of sharing a drink with Jeralt? I guess it's not entirely clear that Byleth's of drinking age.
I'm so glad you're okay, Professor. I was so worried.
Oh, Professor! You must be starving. Mercy and I made some sweets for you. We were thinking that if you were to eat something sweet, it might help you feel better.
Baking sweets is my specialty. I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Professor, please lend us your ears. Ferdinand is saying impossible things.
I do not see what is impossible about it. All I said was that if you want to go back to Brigid, you probably can. You are the Empire's guest, so to speak. They cannot afford for something bad to happen to you. There would be a diplomatic incident. Someone close to us has turned up dead. So one could argue that you are not safe here anymore.
I am not returning to home until I have grabbed my goal. I will not be listening to the words of Ferdinand.
No, look, I did not mean to pressure you. Apologies for the misunderstanding.
What happened to Jeralt? It's terrible. If there's anything I can do, simply ask. Even if what you desire is revenge, I'll gladly lend you my power. We can't let them get away with this.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an option either. Also, you're the one that was hanging out with Monica, you jerk.
I trained with Jeralt just the other day. Why? Why did he have to go and die? It's too awful. He didn't deserve it.
Man, I never got to train with Jeralt.
Do you have time for a request?
This also seems just kind of like wildly incongruous with what else is going on.
Professor, I brought some flowers for Jeralt.
It's the least I can do. Sometimes I feel like all I do is run away. Anyway, I'll go lay them out.
How is it that she even knows anything about Jeralt? Given that she was in her room all the time, she never would have, like, run into him.
I slipped quietly into the vault and rummaged about, looking for anything we might find useful. There is a group of people who want to kill us, after all. What? This is no time for asking permission. I learned long ago that one can ask permission or forgiveness. It is rarely useful to request the former. Still, it appears the knights have already taken everything useful. There were crest-related objects I thought might be worth studying, so... There you go again with that stern look. Of course I'll put them back when I'm done, assuming they bear no additional use.
I've sung lyrics lamenting death many times on stage. But when something like this happens in real life, I'm lost. I don't know what to say, but I do know this much. Sir Jeralt must have been very proud to have you as his child.
I'm sure you will pull through this, because you're so strong, Professor. Best to stay calm during such tumultuous and upsetting times. We don't know the nature of our enemies. If we underestimate them, anything could happen. Yes, I agree. I don't want to lose you too, Professor.
We now interrupt our regularly scheduled exploration to bring you a support that I failed to trigger earlier because I was trying to end the previous episode between Byleth and Claude, so I can do that before I go talk to Claude.
Hey, Teach, do you believe in gods? I don't necessarily mean the goddess of the Seros religion, just gods in general. Do you believe that incredible beings who control the fates of all really exist?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I never used to believe in that sort of thing either. I've always hated the idea of praying to a god. After all, you can only really rely on yourself. I still believe that. You can't win a war by leaving your fate in the hands of a god. Only tangible facts can really decide a war. Which side has the most troops, the best tactics, the better organization and planning. Of course, miracles can happen, and by that I mean things that are completely outside of your control. Things that only seem to add up if you believe in the concept of fate. Things like, well, like meeting you, for example.
I just noticed that they're playing like the romance music right now.
You just seem sort of impossible. I think everyone would agree with that. You can wield the sword of the Creator, you're a tactical genius, and you have this strange ability to earn the trust of anyone you cross paths with. Before I met you, I never imagined that it was possible for someone like you to exist. And yet, now that I know you, your presence in my life has quickly become invaluable. In fact, it's hard to imagine making my dreams come true without your help. Because of that, I can't believe for a second that our meeting was just a coincidence. That means it must have been fate. Maybe it was a miracle, or maybe some god empathized with me in my dreams.
Well, I think you should stick to your convictions, Claude.
Again, I don't mean the goddess of Fodlan, though I suppose it may be hard for you to grasp what I'm talking about. People all over the world have different ideas about who or what the gods are, right? Even in distant lands across the ocean or over the mountains. They have gods who see the world as a whole, who don't care about Fodlan's borders, who don't meddle in our affairs, who don't grant life or take it away. And maybe, sometimes, they'll make a miracle happen. A god like that, that's the sort of god I think I could believe in.
I do not understand. There could be some interesting metatextual readings here having to do with, like, you know, well, either depending on whether Fodlan is supposed to be a continent in some larger, like, Fire Emblem world that includes other games, or even just about, like, you know, the game designer is like basically the god that he's talking about, like places this character into this situation that then influences these events. So I'll say I think I understand, because obviously I have an interpretation.
Careful, Teach. You'll anger the followers of Seros if you say things like that.
I don't care about that.
I'm just speaking my mind, that's all. I think people should be free to believe in whatever gods they want. If a person believes in a god and that god becomes a support system for them, that's a good thing. That's what a god should be. Anyway, maybe I've overstepped a bit. I knew you'd understand. In any case, let's keep this conversation between the two of us, yeah?
It's not like I have a choice in the matter. Alright. Now we can go talk to Claude again. Yay!
Oh? Hi, Teach. I see the storm in your eyes has passed. You're looking much better. I've been reading Jeralt's diary. The baby he mentions. That's you, isn't it? I can't understand about half of what's written here, but Jeralt really cherished you. That much is clear.
There is no one here who has not heard tales of Jeralt's valor. We have suffered a most dear loss. I do not know what the enemy's aim was, but I do know this. After what they have done, we cannot suffer them to live. If there is anything I can do to ensure that justice is brought swiftly, you need only give the word.
Professor, people are saying horrible things about Marianne. They're saying she's friends with the bad guys. If I hear someone say that, I'll...
Leave it alone, Hilda. It doesn't matter.
That would be the quickest way to resolve this. Come on, Marianne. Let's give it our all.
Dark expressions don't suit you, Professor. But well, I'm glad to see you out in the world again.
It seems this month will be a quiet one around here. There aren't many knights around to liven things up.
Most of the knights are gone, seeking out the enemy.
Isn't that a bit much? I agree it's important, but is it a good idea to neglect the safety of the monastery?
What do you think, Professor?
You are worrying too much, but... Which one of them said what here? I don't know who was gonna like what, so I'll just say this.
Hopefully the knights finish their business and hurry back. I wouldn't mind having a few extra lances around.
Professor? Do you think we'll still be able to graduate? If dangerous things keep happening around here, who even knows? I'm worried. I hope that all the students and professors will be there to celebrate at the graduation ceremony.
When I heard that Monica was with the enemy, I was surprised by how unsurprised I was. Something was just off about her. It's hard to explain. That said, whenever she had free time, she was always hanging around with the Edelgard. I wonder if Edelgard is also... Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just being paranoid. Please ignore me.
No, tell me more.
Excuse me. Not just Tomas, but Monica, too. We can't be sure who to trust anymore, can we? Who are these people, really? What do they want?
Oh, Goddess, hear my prayer. Please receive this beloved person. When the cold rain washes the body, when the bird and wolf announce the dawn, receive them into your blue blood. Receive them into a twinkling star. That's a morning scripture from the Church of Seros. Lady Rhea taught it to me. I pray that Jeralt is happy in the next world.
I have as many worries as anyone else, but I must always feign dauntlessness. It can be rather taxing at times. I wanted this to say you should show it to someone, but I guess I'll go with it. No. Let me just ask you straight. What do you think makes a great mercenary? I figured she'd like that.
I'm scared. I feel that I don't understand the world.
Does anyone?
How could something like that happen to Jeralt? He was so strong. You're inspiring, Professor. I'll do my best.
Monica von Ox. There is nothing suspicious in her past that would suggest this change of character. Her transformation must have something to do with her disappearance last year. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. I wonder who kidnapped her, and why.
Oh, that guy's doing the Lorenz with his right hand.
First Tomas, and now Monica. I am so sorry. The failing was clearly our own. We didn't notice the enemy's invasion. And now Jeralt. I apologize. There is nothing I can say to atone for our sins. Professor, please do not let your guard down even among the people of the monastery. There is no way to know where another enemy may be hiding.
You have lost your father. Now more than ever, do I understand how very lucky I am that you were able to save me. Professor, I deeply appreciate what you have done. Thank you. If there is anything at all I can do in return, please tell me, okay?
I've never been much for condolences.
Alright then. I think in the Black Eagles playthrough he actually says something substantive after that, but here he's just like, nah, screw off.
You've lost someone very dear to you. I'm so... You have my sympathy. Manuela and I can take on some of your workload this month. We can't do all the teaching, but at least we can lighten the load for you. I've always seen strength in your eyes. I know you'll recover. You're a very strong person.
I have something rather uncomfortable to discuss. It's about the weapon that killed Jeralt. Will you listen? It was a dagger, but I know enough to know it wasn't an ordinary dagger. It wasn't made of iron or steel because, well, because whatever it was, the wound it left wasn't normal. Who could make a blade like that, do you figure? I wonder who they were.
Oh, is something hiding just behind that book? That ring! I have seen it before. Ah, I know. Jeralt showed that ring to you beside a grave. Do you recall? He said he wished for you to have that ring one day. That means it's yours. He also said that you should gift that ring to someone special.
Excuse me, Professor. How are you holding up? I know how heavily grief weighs upon one's heart. I lost my mother some time ago. It was... Forgive me my moment of weakness. Even all these years later, I cannot recall that time without feeling the pain, as if it were brand new. Just know that I am praying for your mind and your heart to find peace.
First Tomas, and now Monica. I do have a theory, though I admit it is nothing more than speculation. Both Tomas and Monica have each gone missing at one time or another. It was reported that when Monica returned from her disappearance, she began to act like a completely different person. As if, perhaps, the real Monica had been killed and replaced by an imposter. Thinking of it like that, it is possible that this Solon had been impersonating Tomas for some time. How they managed such a convincing change of appearance, though, I still do not understand.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the part where Seth's the only one to put 2 and 2 together. Alright, ready to do point spending, starting with choir practice as usual.
It is so much.
Alright, have I done cooking with both Ash and Mercedes? I think not. I think I only did cooking with Ash. Let's cook with Mercedes. Oh, we've got 7 defense +1s now. Alright, let's do that.
I enjoy baking sweets, but I'm not sure how I'll do cooking other types of food. I see. Cooking is much more exciting than studying or training. Wow.
The Spice Festival is today. So I have absolutely no students who need motivation boost, so we can just take all the people who like spices and eat with them. Try to maximize the support value out of that. None of the knights are around for me to do Byleth training with. I can still do training with Rhea, and I'll want to do that. And I mean, I can also of course train with like Seth, Hanneman, and Manuela, but Rhea is the one I have not much support progress with. So at this point, I have either locked, or in the case of Claude and Leone, B level supports with everyone in my house. I've got basically everybody's ready to go up to A level, which means I think there's not like a ton of urgency to that. So I think I'm just going to eat with people from other houses who have supports with each other. Well, like probably the cross-house supports, not the within-house supports. Inter rather than intra-house supports, I guess we could say. Claude. Let's do Cyril and Claude to start with. Because Claude is somebody who I can build support with.
This is so good. That smell.
Alright, we're doing Leone and Felix. You have a support.
That looks delicious. Goddess.
That looks epic.
Alright, we've got Ash and Petra. Let's do that.
I would be liking that greatly.
This looks delicious. Let's eat.
Alright, next up, we've got Ingrid and Sedith.
I appreciate any good meal, but nothing beats enjoying my favorite food.
The flavor is nostalgic to me for some reason. I'd like some more.
Alright, next we're just going to do Hanneman and Manuela, I think.
This is lovely. I welcome an opportunity for us three to get together and enjoy one another's company.
I wouldn't normally want you around for dinner, Hanneman, but it's kinda nice once in a while.
And we're gonna do Sylvain and Marianne, even though I don't get more support with Marianne, because that's what we got left.
Yeah, you just...
I like the...
Alright, you know what? Screw training with Rhea. We're gonna do Caspar and Raphael, because they seem made for each other.
This is delicious! My absolute favorite!
I can eat so much of...
Alright, so that did unlock supports for pretty much every meal that I had. I suspect I don't really have time to watch all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think what I'll do is do those at the beginning of the next episode, and then we can do a the next weekend will be a battle weekend, so well, we'll have teaching as well. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but I think I've got to stop this episode here. So I'll see you next time for some more sports, and then hopefully some battles. Until then.